Toronto Raptors beat the Atlanta Hawks 109-97 to improve to 5-4 on the season and 2-0 overall in the NBA Cup standings. What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to the Raptors Rundown. I'm your host, Yusuf Abbas, and the Toronto Raptors are now on a 4-game winning streak. The first one in what feels like forever. And what a game this was. I mean, we went from being absolutely depressed thinking that we're back to the same old Raptors, or this offense is what we thought it was going to be before the season, to, oh my god, this team's got a ton of character, this team's got a ton of fight, and we're winning the championship. That second part might actually be true, because currently, after this game, the Toronto Raptors are now 2-0, and they lead the entire East, actually, of the NBA Cup. We're the only 2-0 team in the entire league. And now, to qualify for the quarterfinals, we literally just have to beat the Washington Wizards, who suck, and the struggling Indiana Pacers, who are injured to hell. And honestly, even if we lose to one of those teams, we could still qualify. So we're in a really good position winning these first two games. But a little bit of a game recap. We started off incredibly slow. We were turning the ball over. We were passing up wide open threes for some reason. There was one play actually where Scotty Barnes had a wide open three, and he passed it over to Brandon Ingram to take a contested three. So that was really frustrating early on. I'm giving credit to Atlanta where it's due, because in the entire first half, but especially from out of the gate, they were putting on a level of pressure that we didn't see in that first game against them. The first game was run at our pace. The first game was controlled and dictated by the Toronto Raptors, and they didn't allow that to happen this time. And I know it's crazy to say, but genuinely, they sometimes are looking like a better defensive unit without Trae Young. Just defensively, though, because as we're gonna talk about a little bit later on in the video, you saw how much they missed Trae Young on the offensive side. But defensively, for sure, they're so switchable. They have a bunch of long, tall wings. Every single time we were trying to go into the paint, it was compact. They would switch off Zachary Risachet to Nickeil Alexander-Walker to Jalen Johnson, all guys that can guard 1 through 4 and potentially even 5. But yeah, that's kind of how it went. It was 17-16, then BI and the bench was in as the lineup. The offense was really struggling early on, with Atlanta basically allowing us to shoot threes. Their mentality was, we allowed way too many points last time. I think it was a season high for the Toronto Raptors. We allowed way too many paint points last time, so we were just going to allow them to shoot threes. And we didn't hit a single three in the entire second quarter, which is insane for a basketball team in 2025. The only bright spot in that second quarter was at the start when Jamal Shed came in, and he was an absolute difference maker. Hustle play after hustle play. He was so good early on. And he didn't make, that much of a difference later on in the game, but you look back at that moment, that was a moment where Atlanta could have very easily pulled away, but it was the steals that he would make. It was the extra hustle plays that he would make that sort of kept the Toronto Raptors in it. And that was a big theme of this game. There were many chances for Atlanta to pull away and blow this out, but the Toronto Raptors just stayed within reach of this game, and that's what ended up giving us the opportunity to even come back. Early on, we had issues with getting Scotty the ball. I don't think he touched it at all. He only had 4 shots in the first half, and in hindsight looking, he wasn't having the best shooting performance, but you cannot let Scotty Barnes only having 4 shots in the first half. RJ Barrett was struggling early on. The only real offense was coming from Brandon Ingram in that first half. It was overall just really sloppy. We were taking stupid shots, turning the ball over. They were pushing the pace, and it was a really bad half for the Toronto Raptors. The only bright spots in that first half was Sandro and Jamal Shed. They came into the game, brought us life, and as soon as they went off, we lost it immediately. And the Toronto Raptors ended up going down by as much as 13 points in this game. But like they say, it's a tale of two halves, and the Toronto Raptors bounced back incredibly in the second half. It all comes down to the fact that our offense just woke up. We started off the third hitting shots. A big issue was our offensive rebounding in that third, and we ended up giving up 19 offensive rebounds for the entire game. So we really need to work on that, and that's with Jakob Poeltl. Speaking of which, he looked a little bit labored out there, and I know we talked about this. He spoke about it in an interview. Some days he just feels better than other days. Some days he's nursing it a lot more, and this definitely felt like one of the days where it was impacting him a little bit more. On both sides of the basketball. He's actually taking a rest day against the Philadelphia 76ers tonight on the second half of a back-to-back. So I'm happy that they're managing it. And yeah, I think this is we're going to get this a little bit throughout the season. Hopefully he can get pretty close to 100% and play some consistent minutes for us. But yeah, I feel like we're going to be dealing with these back issues for a little while in this season. But at the end of the third quarter and the start of the fourth quarter, that is where your Toronto Raptors woke up. Grady Dick was a huge part of that. He ended up scoring 8 straight points for the Toronto Raptors, bringing us within a couple baskets. In the fourth quarter, we ended up taking the lead on a Scotty Barnes layup, and we did not look back. It just came down to the offense waking up, and Atlanta, they struggled to initiate any offense, and this is kind of what I was alluding to earlier, where this is where they really missed Trae Young, because they looked a little bit lost on who to run the offense through. It ended up being Jalen Johnson, and while he's an incredible player, he's not really the guy that you give the ball to initiate your offense and run an NBA offense. I know Kristaps Porzingis struggled as well today, but I feel like Atlanta should have created a lot more chances that give Kristaps Porzingis a look from 3. It sort of ended up being all of his 3-pointers where he caught it at the top of the key and he just shot it from range. Whereas, I'm pretty sure his only 3 came from an off-ball screen where he caught the ball, catch and shoot, and he hit the 3. So that's just a little bit of critique from an Atlanta side. The Toronto Raptors, though, what a gutsy character win from them. It says a lot about the team when you are struggling offensively. You're not hitting your shots. Literally everything is going wrong, and you still manage to end up winning the game. And to be honest, I credit the defense for keeping us in this game, but I also credit certain players, especially the ones coming off the bench, for keeping us in this game. I already spoke about him earlier, but Sandro, he was honestly so incredible in this game. He's such a spark plug off the bench. He's a great way to get certain offense. It seems like he's always in the right places at the right time. There was one play where Brandon Ingram absolutely got blocked on a 3, and somehow the ball found its way to Sandro Mamukelashvili under the basket. God, I really gotta stop saying his last name. And his defense looks so much better than I expected. I expected him to be a little bit of a cone out there, but his defense looks incredibly solid to start this season. And the player of the game, Immanuel Quickley, finally had a good game for your Toronto Raptors. He ended up getting 18 points, 5 rebounds, and 6 assists on the game. An incredible game overall for Immanuel Quickley. The biggest reason for him being the player of the game, he hit some incredibly timely threes. And we talked about moments that keep you in the game, that keep it in reach. And Immanuel Quickley had so many of those moments where we were struggling to find a shot, we were struggling to hit threes, and Immanuel Quickley hit those threes. I spoke about it a little bit in the last game. When Brandon Ingram's struggling, Scotty Barnes and RJ Barrett will go off. When Scotty Barnes is struggling, RJ Barrett and Brandon Ingram will go off, and so on. Now we might have to add when all 3 of those are struggling in that rare circumstance, we can actually rely on our point guard that we paid $32.5 million to. Overall, he looked a lot more energetic, and he didn't look absolutely lost out there on defense either. Granted, he was guarding Dyson Daniels, who struggled a little bit offensively this season, but he looked very solid out there, and you can't expect that much from Immanuel Quickley. And when he's scoring at the level that he was today, incredible game from him. I was super happy that he had this moment, because this has got to be such a huge confidence booster for him. RJ Barrett also had an incredible second half. I'm actually amazed that his field goal percentage got to what it was, because I think he started off 1 for 9 or something, but he really rebounded in that second half, taking a lot smarter shots. Noticed the 3 wasn't falling, so he went inside the paint, and the 3 actually ended up falling in the second half, so that worked out well for him. We already spoke about Brandon Ingram, had a good first half, struggled a little bit in the second half. There's actually one play where he had an isolation on Zachary Risa-Shea. It was sort of a little bit of a dagger, and he absolutely destroyed the poor second-year player, shooting that midi over him. He's one of the best mid-range shooters in the entire league, man. He's incredible. And that's a great game for the Toronto Raptors. This is such a good character win for the Raptors. I feel like in previous years, this is the type of game that we would lose. And that's the theme of this season. No matter what, no matter who's struggling, no matter how the game is going, no matter how ugly it looks, we find a way to win. And that's what an actual winning culture, building a winning culture, these are the games that are important to building that. We ended up winning the turnover battle. That was one of my keys in the last episode. It looked a little bit rough early on, but I'm glad we fixed it out with those turnovers. And honestly, in the first half, it was our mistakes that were allowing Atlanta to go off. We only scored 18 points in the second quarter, my God. But we rebounded a lot offensively, scoring 29 and then 36 in the third and fourth quarters. So really good game for the Toronto Raptors. Offensively in the second half, but specifically defensively. We held them to 24 and 20 points in the third and fourth quarters as well. So the second half is what we want to see from the Toronto Raptors, all in all. We're now playing the Philadelphia 76ers. We don't have Jakob Poeltl, so we cannot let them dominate the boards. They've got some pretty solid rebounders in Adem Bona and Andre Drummond. We cannot allow them to go off. We have to contain them in this game. And of course, they have the former MVP Joel Embiid. We cannot let him get going early. The good thing is, I mean, he's on a minutes restriction, so if Nick Nurse notices that he's struggling, he's going to keep him off. And even if he's going off, they got to follow that minutes restriction. So thank God we got a break from Joel Embiid if he goes off today. We're probably going to end up starting Colin Murray-Boyles, and the biggest key to me, we need to limit some of their guards. They have one of the best guard rotations in the entire NBA. They have Tyrese Maxey, VJ Edgecombe, Quentin Grimes, Jared McCain, who's looking to have a bounce back after his 0-point debut this season. So we really need to limit those guards. We got to limit the amount of threes that they take, and of course protect the paint like we have been doing so far. I'm looking for a bounce back from Brandon Ingram, looking for a bounce back from Scotty Barnes, and I swear to God, if we pass up any more threes, I'm going to get so triggered. Also, I'm sorry, but before we wrap up, I just wanted to give a shout out to Jameson Battle. I can't believe I forgot him, because genuinely I've been so impressed with him. 6 minutes today, 6 minutes, and honestly such a good effort defensively. He was a part of that group. In those 6 minutes, he was a part of the group with Immanuel Quickley, Scotty Barnes, and Brandon Ingram, and oh God, who am I forgetting? This is the last one. RJ Barrett. All the stars except Jakob Poeltl. And they put in Jamison Battle, and we ended up coming back with that lineup. So it was so insane to see. And it's crazy that you can play Jamison Battle 6 minutes, and those 6 minutes are in one of the most important stretches of the entire game, and he can actually be impactful even without scoring the ball like he did today. But yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching the video. Let me know your prediction for the Raptors versus the Sixers in the comments below. Make sure to like, subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.